How you doing? This is Nathaniel Soaps and Sports Center. Today I want to talk about Somalia. They sent a track runner who ran probably the worst 100-meter dash of all time. I believe she ran a 21:8.84, which is the time actually slower than sometimes of some 200-meter dash times. And allegedly, I believe she's the niece of the leader of Somalia. So again, like I said, she ran the worst time, and we're gonna read this article and then go into it and talk about it afterwards. So the article is from Newsweek. A female athlete from Somalia's poor performance in the 100-meter dash at the FISU 2023 World University Games, an international multi-sport event for university athletes in China, has been destroyed online. I believe her name is Nashara Ali Akbar, ran a distance in 21.81 seconds, finishing 10 seconds behind the leaders and sparking an outcry about her decision. A video of her competing in the competition has gone viral, more than 19 million views since it was shared on Twitter. Many question why an unprepared athlete with no previous record of competing in races has been chosen by the Ministry of Youth in the sport in Somalia. In the video, Abu Abu Kar is soon left out of short as the rest of the field sprint to the finish line, with a winner clocking in at 11 seconds for the distance. To place Abu Kar's speed in context, the qualifying standard for the U.S. Women's Olympic 100-meter team is at 11.15 seconds. The slowest time recorded at the 2023 Olympics in the women's 100-meter was 15.26, which is more than 6 seconds faster than Abu Kar. World Athletics, the international governing body of track and field awards, points based on performance, which a maximum of 1,400 points for women, and if they finish in the 100 meter in 10.12 seconds or less, finishing the 100 meter in 21.68 seconds, still faster than Abu Kar's time, awards just 1 point. Questions have been raised social media about the validity in her inclusion. It has been claimed that she is the niece of Somalia's athletics president, Abdullahi Ahmed Tarabi. I apologize if I'm saying the name wrong, and that in her inclusion in the team is due to nepotism amid claims of financial irregularities. I'm sorry. Uh, Elham Gerard, whose post on Twitter went viral with the video, questioned the inclusion of the athlete. She wrote, "The Ministry of Youth and Sports should step down. And disheartening to witness such an incompetent government. How could they select an untrained girl to represent Somalia in running? It is truly shocking and reflects poorly on our country internationally." Newsweek has reached out to Gerard and Somalia's Ministry of Youth of Sport via Twitter and email respectively for comment on the situation. Gerard replied on her initial tweet with further explanation, writing that that's the niece of president of the Somalia Athletics Federation. What you expecting? Nepotism. We have good athletes in Somalia, but when it comes to the money, it's a different story. The Somalia Athletics Federation have said on Somali TV that there will be an investigation into the selection of Abu Kar after her participation was condemned across the globe. Twitter used the person who posted the video wrote, "I don't believe she's the fastest woman in Somalia, because ain't no way, she's the fastest woman in Somalia. Especially, she's been from the continent of Africa, and there's got to be somebody faster than her." It's not the first time Somalia has courted controversy in their selection of female athletes. Back in 2016, Maria New Moose represented the country at 400 meters in the Rio Athletics, despite having a desperately slow time. Her time at the heat was 1 minute 10 seconds, which would not have qualified her for the Maryland High School Girl 2A state finals at the time. There was a different reaction in 2016 with her participation being hailed as an inspiration for others to follow the same path in athletics. Okay, so that's the end of the article. And like I said, it's ridiculous that they sent that athlete and she ran such a slow time. Again, her running 21.81. I thought it was 21.84. Like I said, she ran slower than some 200-meter dash times. And the last person that finished, she was still 10 seconds behind that person. And people are running a 100-meter dash at 10 seconds. Some of our top female athletes. And, it's really unfortunate. And what I want to talk about going, is I've been to Ghana and I work in a district, school district that's mostly Hispanic. So in Ghana, and I talked even with Michael Blackson about this. He would say that there are soccer players in the slums of Ghana that are better than players on the national team. And I've talked to friends from Accra, Ghana, saying there's players in the slums and the neighborhoods that are better than some of the players on the national teams. And they said that a lot of the times the country only picks the family or siblings of army people or people like the presidents or people higher up in the government or rich people. And we even seen this in the movie Cool Runnings, where one of the runners' father was really rich, and the young man didn't even really like track, but he was put into the race because his father was rich and his father wanted to see him run. Um, which also did help out with Cool Runnings with them getting a bobsled and everything like that. But this is very common in smaller countries, and even like with me teaching in Waukegan, I have a lot of Mexican students. So we have a young man who's really good at soccer, and he's so good that he was invited to Mexico, to a city very close to the United States, to try out for the soccer team. And he even stated that he wasn't chosen, but he noticed, and a lot of people talked about that, a lot of the people that were chosen were family members of the people in the army and family members of people in the government. So how can these teams gain recognition and get money to being one of the best teams in the nation or around the world if they're only choosing government officials' kids and army kids? Now, one of the best things about living in the United States is if you're very talented, you're going to get found. It's not just about, saying like you being rich and things like that. It can be how things are changed with the NBA and parents as far as training. But like a LeBron James, you're going to get discovered. You know what I'm saying? In the like guys who are just really good. Like the only reason you don't make it if you just complete a-hole, like you don't have a bad attitude or you can't get your grades together. But even now, even if you're like that, you're going to get a chance to go overseas, like we see with the Chinese street ball leagues and the summer league. They're coming to get players from the United States who may not make it to the NBA or the G League, but they're making it over in China, playing it in street ball leagues and tournaments and outdoor, indoor tournaments. Like we had a young man, Brandon Dalton, who put up 98 points. This is a young man who didn't even play D1 or D2 basketball in Chicago. And he went up and put 98 points in China. You know what I'm saying? So if you're talented in the United States, that's one of the beauty of the United States. You're going to get found. Like if you're a neighborhood kid and you're talented in soccer and basketball, things like that, you're going to get found. And one of the tough things, like even in Africa, a lot of the top soccer players are getting discovered because France and England and Sweden, and they're coming into Africa and to find these kids in the slums. And these kids are going to play for the European teams, the European leagues and the Middle Eastern leagues. And then once it comes out to, and a lot of times they come get them early. Like France will come get these kids early, or the people moving to these countries, and now some of our best players and best athletes are playing for France or playing for Greece or playing for Nigeria. Like Giannis, I can't say his last name, but Giannis, one of the best players in the NBA, he's playing for Greece. He just visited Nigeria for the first time. So these countries have to do a better job of allowing their best athletes to be discovered and compete for the national team. Because if they do and they do well, this brings more money into the country. You know what I'm saying? And the continent of Africa has to stop just only allowing the government's kids or the rich people's kids. Like these kids in the slums can play. These kids in the slums are talented. And that's probably one of the best things about the Western world and America is If you're a talented athlete, if you're talented academically, you're going to be found. And it's time for the rest of the world to catch up to that. So again, this is Nathaniel Swopes of Swope Set signing out, and you all have a good one.